we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order for Sacramento Regional Transit for Monday, July 24th, 2017. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Director Budge?
Here.
Director Hanson? Director Harris?
Here.
Director Hume?
Here.
Director Jennings?
Here.
Director Kennedy?
Here.
Director Miller?
Present.
Director Natoli? Director Chenier? Director Cerna? Chair Morin.
Here.
With that, we have a quorum at 100 votes. This meeting of the Sacramento Regional Transit District will be cablecast without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel, and will be streamed live on RT's website. Tonight's meeting will air on July 27th at 10 p.m. and replayed on July 30th at noon on Channel 14 and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. It is also closed caption. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker card located at the rear of the room and provide it to me or Adam. Please speak into the microphone and state your name for the record. We would appreciate everyone turning off their cell phones. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. And Director Hanson is present now. So with that, would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome, Steve. Okay, so with that, first item, please.
Public addresses the board on matters not on the agenda.
Okay, I do have a number of members of the public wishing to address the board and the public here. So with that, we'll start with Arthur Ketterling. Arthur, good evening, Arthur. After Arthur is Justin Mendoza, and after Justin is Mike Barnbaum. Good evening, Arthur.
Good evening. I would like to mention, I seen in the paper that there was a piece in the paper, last I heard myself, that it wasn't granted, but according to the paper, it was granted on a 13 million grant, and I was wondering if we are going to have that grant. It was explaining of what some of the things that RT wanted to do, but I was wondering if we have it or if we don't have it.
You know, we don't want to steal the general manager's report here, so I believe in the general manager's report, we're going to get some details on that, Arthur, okay?
Okay. All right, then. I thank you.
Great.
And thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thanks. Thanks, Arthur. Okay, Justin Mendoza, and after Justin is Mike Barnbaum. Good evening, Justin.
Hi, good evening. My name is Justin Mendoza, and I've been here in Sacramento now for 5 years. I originally hail from Stockton, our neighbor to the south. Over the past 20 years, I've had the privilege of working with Donna DiMartino and her executive team at San Joaquin RTD in bringing about change to the face of transit to the San Joaquin County region. And on Friday, I was privileged to have a meeting with Henry Lee and Wendy Williams about bringing that change here to Sacramento. There's a lot of needs that need to be addressed. What's discouraging to me is we have a transit riders union organization out here that is claiming that they are being an independent, democratic, member-run union of transit riders organizing for a better transit system in Sacramento. Independent means we're able to think for ourselves, not taking $2,500 checks from the Amalgamated Transit Union. When going to their meetings and trying to advocate on behalf of the public, I was told in wanting to start my grassroots initiative, SAC-RT goes forward, that it's not the public's job to reach out to regional transit and bringing about awareness to public transit and its needs. Never has it been more important at any given time than it is now, given the state of our current administration. Building strong collaborative transit systems requires effort from everybody involved, including yourself, our elected officials, people like me, and both stakeholders, public and private, that we must work together to help solidify our stance. We can't just pull $160 million out of thin air to replace RT's 30-year-old light rail system. That it's going to take effort on all of our parts to make this happen. And that's why, even though RT is not in a financial position, such as San Joaquin RTD, to hire a dedicated customer engagement analyst such as Kelvin Cow, that I have a BA in mass communications, and I'm also seeking my MS in transportation management with an emphasis in service development work, because public transit truly is one of my life passions. It's something that I believe strongly in. In fact, whether you use regional transit or not, the economic benefits are great both to riders and residents alike. That's why I'm here today, is to let you all know that I stand for what is right. My goal is to be transparent in everything I do, and not to be a puppet of a union, and not to be a puppet of politics or the most powerful lobbyists, but essentially to be a voice for those people that need it the most, our riding public. So Wendy and Henry have my contact information. I've started a Facebook page and an Instagram page called SacRT Goes Forward. Mr. Moran, thank you for your outreach to me this weekend about the $10,000 in grant money that is available to regional transit. That we need to all come together to let this go away would be financially irresponsible. That we need that money more now than ever to promote RT's need to the public. Thank you.
Thanks, Justin. Okay, Mike, and then following Mike is Barbara Stanton, and after Barbara is Robert Copland. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Chair Moran and members of the board. It's been about a month and a half, but welcome back, everyone, to the Regional Transit District Board of Directors meeting. There are some potential service improvements, and let me stress, by others, that could be coming to Sacramento. So with that, I wanted to preview to you this Friday's San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority meeting, which will take place at 12:30 in the afternoon in the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors chambers. At the May meeting in Fresno, the group decided to have their July meeting in Sacramento. First on the agenda about potential service improvements, staff from the Shasta Regional Transportation Agency will make a presentation before the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority Board of Directors on plans for new bus service from Redding to Sacramento, which would include but not be limited to stops at Sacramento International Airport and Sacramento Valley Station. If that service does happen, they would become the second only to the Yolo County Transportation District to provide public transit service to the Sacramento International Airport. The second presentation will be by the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority staff on an update and implementation and schedule of the Morning Express, which will change around the San Joaquin train schedules to allow direct service from Fresno to Sacramento, arriving by 7:41 in the morning, and a train leaving approximately 5:30 in the afternoon, back down to locations in the San Joaquin Valley. And the third and foremost service improvement that will be discussed, and perhaps hence why the meeting is going to be in Sacramento, is the number one focus of the San Joaquin Joint Powers Authority is to improve the frequency of their service to Sacramento. With that in mind, as you may be aware, 2 round trips exist now to Sacramento, and they travel on the train tracks near Sacramento State, which is best known as the Fresno subdivision. Union Pacific is not interested in additional service over there, but it looks like from an analysis there could be service on the Sacramento subdivision, which would add a potential new stations in West Elk Grove, Sacramento City College, Midtown, and North Sacramento, and a potential Natomas Airport station near West Elkhorn Boulevard and Blacktop Road in North Natomas. So this should be some very exciting things, and we hope to engage RT to become a partner with some service improvements of their own if these service improvements do in fact happen. But come and learn about them Friday at 12:30.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Barbara, followed by Robert, and then Jeffrey Tardigia. Good evening, Barbara.
Good evening, Chair Marin and directors. Just a little housekeeping thing, very short. I got a phone call from a frequent rider named Gail Morgan. He's on the line he rides all the time. He's in a chair. Sunday, the 23rd, he was on an inbound light rail car, number 201 from Watton I-80. And there was some really outdated information at the front of the car on the rider alert brochures that you have. The information at the front of the car stated comments were needed for Title VI issue by April the 26th, 2017. So he went to the back of the car, and at the back of the car, again, it was calling for comments on a Title VI issue by February 2017. So maybe before the cars go out, someone can check to see if the information on the cars are correct, because it might be a little shocking to people. Anyway, thank you.
All right. Thanks for passing it along, Barbara. Robert Copeland. Robert, and following Robert will be Jeffrey Tardigia. Good evening, Robert.
Well, let me say, I'm a Sacramento Transit Writers Union member, and I am no puppet for anybody. But what I really want to talk about is the trolley car. Why do we need a trolley in Sacramento? You're great, as RT is great about creating new systems, but they're not great at running them. Like, RT needs better routes, better light rail systems, better light rail cars, and we're not seeing that. I want to know why. Why we need a trolley car when the tracks are going to come down, I think, J Street, one of the heaviest traveled streets in downtown Sacramento. It's going to cause gridlock when it's built. While it's being built, I don't see why we need it. Use your mind before you come up with these new systems. Just because you think we need a trolley car, Sacramento does not need a trolley system in this town. We need a better light rail service, better bus service, better bus routes. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. And Jeffrey Tardigia. Jeffrey, I think I saw you getting on the train there at 29th Street heading out, so you got back real quick.
I had to. My little scooter that I was going to try be here ran out of juice, so I had to run it home and come back here in this little tutor, so it was just to this. I've only filled out this and for 14, so I will try to cover all the things that I have not been able to say. Guys, 4 and 5 is a bunch of gobbledygook to try and explain to the public about your problems with your, should we say, 2011 dealing with your trustee and investment plan and everything else. I wish you'd do a better job of explaining to the public, because you looks like a golden parachute, and that's not what it's talking about, is it? You may know it, but the public doesn't. That's, should we say, a little bit disturbing to them. I just came back from the state fair, and once again I have that reminder of here is an opportunity that, like the arena, could have generated more revenue for RT if you had the 67 and 68 running a little later. I've made that suggestion to your alert system and suggest that you, in your, should we say, alert system, the report it, see it, report system in there, that you add some different categories. I've had 2 Connect card machines that have failed, just a blank screen. I've reported it, but there's nothing on that screen to really make it efficient about Connect card issues and problems. Your AC, I hope it gets fixed. I hope that's being addressed better. To Henry, you know, when you, even before you became general manager, there was a problem with the elevator. And it's a year later, more or less now. And here again, I think you're not ready, and you need to have some schedules in here to adjust for all the bus routes that are coming in. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I will talk further about that when it comes up. I hope that that next meeting that you have, you get a better idea so we don't have another situation occur about how serious and how impactful I-80 is in regards to a number of subjects and issues. I hope that by September that you activate and use your, should we say, ambassadors to do a better fostering about for the system optimization. And Patrick is learning a little bit more from about you and for you. I hope that you get to ride a little more and see, like, I rode the 62 and only to discover that you have rechanged a 51X and you've removed another bus stop that's sitting at Broadway and 19th Street. Something that is out there. So one of the things that I would really like to ask staff is how in the world you eliminate bus stops and how you inform the public that, gee, you no longer have a bus stop due to construction or doing something else, and we're not going to replace it and restart it. That should do it for a start.
Okay, thanks, Jeffrey. All right, so that's our last speaker on business from the floor, so we'll move on here.
Next item is the consent calendar, items 1 through 12.1, noting that you have speakers on 6, 7, 11, and 12.1.
All right, so absent any other request to pull items, entertain a motion for 1 through 5, 8 through 10, and 12.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Director Hanson and seconded by, I'll say Director Budge. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, item 6, please.
Item number 6, resolution approving a right of entry agreement between the Sacramento Regional Transit District and the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District for installation of an underground water pipeline within SAC-RT's right-of-way at 47th Avenue, and delegating authority to the general manager, CEO, to execute an easement. And Brent Berniger is here to answer any questions.
Okay, I do have one request to speak on this item. Brenda Anderson, is Brenda? Oh, there's Brenda. Good evening, Brenda.
Hi, my question is there any environmental review regarding this underground pipeline?
We will have, you got this, Mark? Okay.
So it's unusual to see me on this one, but actually we met with regional sanitation, and what they're doing is they're running a water line from regional san to the Campbell Soup site. It's their project. They've handled all the environmental piece. All they need is the ability to pass underneath us, and that's all this action does.
Okay.
So the water is responsible for the environmental, not RT. Is that your answer?
That's correct, regional sanitation.
I see. So RT approves the environmental or just goes along with it?
No, we're just responding to their request as they would respond to ours if we were asking for a right of entry onto their property.
I see.
They're just boring underneath us with a water line.
And if there's a problem, it's on the water?
It's on regional sanitation
on-
has to address it, absolutely.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark, for answering that. So with that, entertain a motion for item 7.
Second.
Okay, moved by Director Hanson. Who was the second on that? Director Hume, please, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Motion carries at 100 votes.
All right, item 7.
Item number 7, approve the 12th Amendment to the contract for Palmer Castasian Wool Hodson LLP for legal services, and Tim Spangler's here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Cindy, and I believe Brenda has a question on this one as well. Good evening again, Brenda.
Hi, just a point of clarification. Is this for a particular additional type of legal services or just an ongoing contract?
When the contract was originally entered into, it was for general advisory and work on arbitrations and so forth. So we've used this firm to do both types of work for us, both giving us advice on labor matters and also representing us in arbitrations.
For how long?
It preceded me many years.
Many years?
Yeah,
You never,
It's ongoing service.
Right.
Question. It's ongoing service.
ongoing service, and will continue to be ongoing for,
no, I don't think so. As I mentioned in the issue paper, that I'm only seeking to amend it for a small amount. In the future, we're going to contract on an individual assignment basis. We'll have a work order contract, And then we'll also have we'll enter into separate contracts for arbitration matters as they come up.
Much better. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Tim. So with that, entertain a motion, item 7. Moved by Director Jennings, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Abstentions?
Motion carries at 100 votes.
All right.
Item number 11, resolution approving the right-of-way contract State Highway for a temporary construction easement with the California Department of Transportation for construction purposes within SAC-RT's right-of-way located at Freeport Boulevard, and Brent Bernicker's here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. I do have a request to speak on this, and it's Brenda Anderson. We need to get Brenda her own microphone, I think, here.
Bring my own next time, I think. The question is the temporary status. This temporary is, what is the specifics of this temporary, and when is there or scheduled some type of permanent fixture?
I think the temporary nature of that is based on their needs. So we're looking to them to see how long it will take them to do the construction work. So let me also see if I can bring Sharon up. Can you maybe give some more further information on that, like the temporary nature of it?
Yes, Caltrans is actually doing improvements on the I-5 bridge, and they've actually just asked us for a temporary construction easement to store their equipment while they modify the bridge.
I see. So the modification is the permanent part.
The modification is a permanent to the Caltrans bridge, but to store their equipment on Regional Transit's right-of-way is temporary.
I see. Thank you.
All right, so entertain a motion.
Second.
Okay, moved by Director Chenier, seconded by Director Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Motion carries at 100 votes. Next item, item 12.1, resolution authorizing travel outside the United States for Henry Lee, General Manager, CEO, to represent Sacramento's transportation industry to assist the Sacramento Xinan, if I pronounce that correctly, sister city relationship with China to develop a comprehensive transportation strategy for the Sacramento region. And Mr. Lee is here to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. I do have a couple requests to speak on this. We'll start with Brenda.
How long?
4 business days, actually, but then plus 4 weekend days and 1 holiday. So it's from September 2nd to September 10th.
I see.
And there are 2 versions. One version is 15 days, one version is 8 days or 9 days.
Just you?
Or a whole bunch of people, and the delegation is led by Council Member Stephen.
Raise hand. Who's going?
There are about 15 people going from.
15 people going to China.
It's a semi-annual trip as part of our sister city.
Is it a regular thing?
Yep.
Yearly?
Not usually. Usually.
This particular issue is caused you to go?
Normally we don't do a back and forth during public comment, but yes.
Oh,
ma'am.
I see.
So.
Okay.
What specifics? Can you give me more specifics? You say, city relationship, a comprehensive strategy. One item in the strategy to, just one item to sample. One item in the strategy. What would be one item in the strategy?
As you know, President Trump is going to announce $1 trillion infrastructure project. One of the major incentives for that to get the federal money is to get the private investment. Without private investment in the future, the major capital projects may be very difficult to get approved by the federal government. Right now, there are only a few, countries or places you can looking for the, potential private investment in our future light rail expansions, such as our light rail expansion to airport is a $1 billion project. That's one of the major, incentives.
Funding.
Yeah.
Funding.
I like to go. Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brenda. Also, I have Coco Cazella. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. Coco Cocazella. Quickly addressing a couple of earlier tensions. I do hope we're all working together, and disagreement is actually part of teamwork, so I hope we're all working together. I strongly believe that transportation, equitable transportation, is the lifeblood of any city. Having said that, I am often dismayed when I see things that potentially threaten that. So I wrote some notes regarding this agenda item in no particular order. And a lot of this frustration stems from what I perceive as bleeding money into non-equitable solutions, looking for problems. For instance, glitzy things that may feel sexy and interesting, but probably don't really serve the greater good. So these are notes, and there might be hyperbole and rhetoric in here, but just bear with me. So for a long time, I felt that there would be nothing worse than for RT to become insolvent. Well, I actually think there might be something worse, which is selling it to a foreign entity. Also, I'd like to know, how does a person travel to and from China and achieve lodging and food for $2,100? I feel that's ridiculously lowball and rather a fantasy. So I don't think that's a good faith number. What in heaven does this city have to do with Sacramento, the sister city? We are often comparing ourselves to Portland and San Diego in the vector of transportation. And even those comparisons, with those comparisons, there are discrepancies in logic, so I'm not quite seeing that. But if one truly does wish to learn from transportation progressive cities, which I can certainly appreciate, I think there potentially are other ways in our modern world of doing that, for instance, vis-a-vis video conferencing and the like. And I quote this part of the agenda item: looking for potential public-private partnership opportunities for the investment of SAC-RT light rail expansion. Well, once again, I say I'm not understanding this. Are we trying to leverage Sacramento RT to, foreign billionaires? I don't really know what that means. So I feel this type of logic is born of this whole idea about creating a destination city. And I postulate that you don't create a destination city. A destination city comes to be organically by the nature of how you treat its citizens. It becomes so compelling to come here that you can't keep people out. But if you don't address what the citizens need, it's not compelling. Thank you.
Thanks, Coco. Okay, that is the last request I had to speak on that item.
Second.
So moved by Director Hansen, seconded by Director Kennedy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Motion carries at 100 votes.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Next item, please.
Next item is the general manager's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board and the public. First, a brief state legislature update. On July 17th, the state legislature approved a K bill, Assembly Bill 398, that will guide California's climate change policy in next 2 decades. The bill would extend the state cap and trade program until December 2030, which currently is only authorized through December 2020. This will bring more market certainty to the state's long-term environmental objectives, ensure that carbon reductions occur in state, and strengthen the market for cap and trade auction proceeds. And about a month ago, there was very good auction, brings about over $300 million for this program, and we're actively applying for some money for us. Next, I'd like to provide a brief update on light rail vehicle emergency repairs. And the SACRT's procurement ordinance, we declared a state of emergency and awarded an emergency contract for repairs on UTDC light rail vehicles on Sunday, June 25th, 2017, after extremely hot week. The repairs were required to restore the number of light rail vehicles needed for normal light rail operations. When placed into service, those UTDC cars will support returning the system back to normal by having 4-car trains again and address the safety concerns for the entire system. Under the authorization, the general manager must report such action to the board as soon as possible, but in no event more than 30 days after action is taken. Today is the 29th day. In addition, we have implemented multiple improvement actions to address AC breakdown issue on some of our oldest Siemens cars during the extremely hot condition, which is a result of 30 years old aging technology. The improvement actions include, but not limited to, we modified the AC pipeline to increase airflow for all 36 Siemens cars, the oldest Siemens cars. But not all those 36 Siemens cars had the AC issue during that extremely hot week, just some of those. We provide the sunscreens on windshields for all light rails, 97 light rail cars. And we provide additional brakes for operators during the extremely hot days, which is above 105 degrees. And we provide operators with cooling towels and cold water. And in the meantime, we continue to work harder and smarter to make RT more clean, safe, and convenient, and always put our customers first. Some examples. First, we're working to put a pop-up tent outside Sacramento's customer service center in R Street, so our customers will get some relief during hot and raining conditions. Second, after Chair Morin and I met with Supervisor Sue Frost and Supervisor Susan Peters, RT staff has started regular meetings with both supervisors' offices to continue our collaborative endeavor to enhance the transit services in District 3 and District 4. Some exciting actions are already happening, and we will brief board and the public in the near future. Third, we are implementing a new Adopt a Station program that will require senior managers to monitor our light rail stations. Each senior manager will select at least 3 light rail stations to visit regularly and share the observations related to safety, security, and cleanliness with the team. Then we can address that right away. The general public are also able to address any immediate concerns by utilizing the Alert SACRT mobile app to report safety and security concerns and other issues. And we are making a turnaround on Watt I-80 light rail station, which we will have a presentation in a couple of minutes to talk about in detail. Fifth, we released our request for proposals for a route optimization study. A gentleman just mentioned about, we need to look for a better route, the whole route system. And we embarked on a comprehensive review of our service network. Our project goals include understanding changes in travel patterns, tapping into key markets to increase ridership, identifying opportunities and challenges offered by new mobility options, and building strong relationships with customers and stakeholders. We intend to work with the public, the board, and our operators to ensure a seamless process and customer satisfaction with the end result. And I look forward to sharing more information with you as we move ahead. Probably start from now, every board meeting we will have a status update or presentation about our route optimization study or initiative. And we're working very effectively to get additional funding to improve our customers' experience. Last month, we have been awarded a $13 million grant from the California Transportation Commission. This grant is come from the TCRP, Traffic Congestion Relief Fund, which is the last piece of the fund, and we get a great share of that. We will use $8 million to fund the replacement of SACRT's outdated fare vending machines, along with the installation of new digital information signs with updated security features. The new machines will allow passengers to pay with credit card, debit card, and collect cards. The grant funding will also be used to pay for the relocation of a traction power substation. In the last 2 weeks, we received over 3,500 inquiries from social media about why we cannot use this fund for light rail vehicle replacement. We explained that these funds were strictly limited to its intended purpose, and we were able to gain the understanding from these people using social media. And we tried. We tried to see if we can use this money for light rail vehicles, and we pushed back. And the CTC told us, you can either get this money for what we want you guys to do, you don't get a lesson. So we're actively promoting our Instagram account by posting passenger pictures of our transportation system, and the people are enjoying the positive interaction, and we believe it will help to generate goodwill. So speaking of positive interactions on social media, SACRT has a new fan, a new rider, formerly a reporter of ABC 10 News. He's now writing SACRT to his new job, and he posted a video of his first commute by bus. Can we share that, please? Just a couple seconds.
This is where I get on, and here's the regional transit map. And here comes my bus. I'm sure I can figure this thing out. I have never ridden a mass transit bus or light rail, but it seems an easy and a cheap way to commute to my new job near the state capitol. I board the bus just 1 block from where I live in the Pocket neighborhood and step off just 2 blocks from where I work. It's about a half-hour ride with a few dozen quick stops. The fare for a single ride is $2.75, but cheaper with a monthly pass. Sacramento Regional Transit has an online trip planner where you put in where you're starting from, where you want to go and when, and it shows you all your options.
Next stop, L and 19. Stop requested.
The bus was clean, air-conditioned, on time, and 2-block walk to work. I think I'm a fan of RT.
And I just wanted to be clarified, this video, we did not contact this person, and we found this video about a week after, he posted on that. So we even didn't, so far we have not met with him yet. Okay. So the last, a couple very minor stuff, it's not really minor actually. I want to introduce our new Chief of Police, Lieutenant Lisa Han. Lisa can stand up. Lisa is a 26-year veteran of Sacramento Police Department, and throughout her career, Lieutenant Han worked in many units within the Sacramento Police Department. On June 9, 2017, Lieutenant Han took over the responsibility of SACRT's police service as the Chief of SACRT Police Service, while Captain Norman Leon returned back to Sacramento Police Department for more challenging tasks. So he is the chief of the detective service, I think. Lots of fancy stuff. We appreciate Lieutenant Lisa's willingness to take on more responsibility to further enhance SACRT's security effort for all riders. I also want to commend Deputy Alex Nedwick's bravery and sacrifice for enhancing the security of our system. And early July, when Lisa and I visited him in hospital, the nurse told us that he had been in a great spirit all the time. Lisa and I shared with him, RT board and RT staff and public, care about him, and especially Director Serna, specifically asked him right that incident happened, and he really appreciated. He wants to say, thanks. He was released from the hospital on July 8th. He's a fighter who has also managed to laugh in spite of his circumstances. We're also proud to share that the GoFundMe account set up in his account or his name now totals more than $70,000. And we look forward to seeing Deputy Landwick back in uniform after he is fully recovered. And finally, I want to commend our financial team for working diligently to secure that $13 million grant mentioned earlier and delivered a positive fiscal year 17, FY17 preliminary year-end budget performance. Last month, as you can recall, the financial team presented a fiscally responsible FY18 budget adopted by board with close to $10 million savings compared to the historical financial trend. Based on the historical financial trend, we would add $10 more million in that budget, but instead, actually, we did not. And even with some service enhancements, without any service impact, without a fair impact. Today, our CFO, Brent Berlinger, will present a positive financial result for FY17 year-end in a couple of seconds, which is the reverse of past financial trend too. Without stealing Brent, his thunder, I will ask him to come to the podium to present our FY17 year-end budget performance to the board and the public. Thank you.
Before we get to Brent, Director Hanson, is it comment?
Yeah, Henry, thank you for those announcements. Welcome, Lieutenant Lisa, which hopefully you don't mind. I did hear about Norm moving on. I'd love a chance for us to bring him back and to recognize him because he did tremendous work here during his time. You've got small but big shoes to fill. And we look forward to thanking him for his service and welcoming you.
We offered that, and he refused again repeatedly, but we'll try to bring him.
I'll call him.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Good evening, Brent.
Good evening, Chair Moran and members of the board. So just as Henry said, we recently completed the June close, and with that we also have the preliminary FY17 fiscal year-end results as well. Understanding that we are still waiting a few year-end adjustments, we also have an actuarial liability assessment that's done, and usually that comes in the first week of August, and that's for our workers' comp and our general liability insurance. There's still some adjustments that could be made, but as of right now, what we're looking at is a positive $2.7 million operating surplus, and that's just amazing. I mean, there's been a lot of hard work here. And I'm going to go into that a little further. I'll just start out by saying the FY17 operating revenues came in at $162.2 million, and operating expenses are obviously lower at $159.5 million, and that's how we got that surplus. And if you recall, just a few years back, we were in a situation where the number was actually negative, or about around this number, and it was negative. And now, thanks to the board actions, I know you guys worked really diligently on making sure we had good financial policies and reserves policies in place, and that's made a big impact on RT. And Henry, along with your leadership, I think it's really been able to make a big turnaround here, and this is a big accomplishment to do this in such a short period of time. What also I find amazing is we did all this without a new revenue source. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the need for a new revenue source, and this was all done with the existing revenue sources through budget control and cost control. So this is a big accomplishment for everyone here. So thank you. In addition to these financial results that I'll be going over, we also have some good news on our cash position. We have a $29 million line of credit. Recently, it was up as high as $21 million. And last week we paid that all the way down to zero. We paid the entire line down. And we did that with only 7/12 of our preventative federal funds maintenance funds that we received. Typically, we have to wait for a whole 12-month cycle of federal funds, so we have better cash management cycle due to these positive results. So having a positive cash flow, I don't want to say too positive because we still have the line of credit, but having that positive turn in cash flow is also another objective that we're looking at. So that's really good news. So with that, I kind of want to just touch on some of the highlights here. If you look at the full operating revenues, it came in at $162.2 million. The two detractors that we had in revenues was fair revenue and other income. Fair revenue, what's interesting about fair revenue is the first 6 months of the year, we had a great trend. And the last 6 months of the year, it's kind of gone down. I'm going to go into a little bit more into why it's done that, but that's just something that we have to acknowledge and address. The second piece of information that we looked at was other income. What we had budgeted there was about $1 million of advertising revenue from the arena. When we knew the arena was coming out, we worked with the Kings and we were trying to get some advertising to kind of sponsor RT. We were unsuccessful in that, but in turn what we've done is we've turned that into an advertising opportunity on a light rail train. So you'll see a lot of those trains being wrapped. So we didn't get as much as we had wanted, but we are getting some. Now on the positive side, if you look at the expenses, you'll see we're at 159.5. We budgeted about 162.4 million, so that's a $2.9 million positive variance. Much of that came from salary and benefit costs and services. We had some savings in our post-retirement medical benefits, and we also had a positive savings when we entered into a new contract with our ATU partners. They were able to lower that cost going forward for the next couple years, so we're starting to see that benefit. The next area in services, that service category, it's the main cost drivers there are security services and paratransit costs. We know just recently we went through a shift in our guard contract and we brought that in-house, so we were able to save a little bit there. And also on the paratransit costs, the actual trips that came in were lower than what was forecasted, so we were able to see some savings in that service category. So those are our positive variances. I do want to touch on one negative variance, and I hate to be negative here, but if you look at the supplies area, the variance is only $208,000, but in that supplies category, there's an area for parts for light rail vehicles. And I think we've been mentioning this at our strategic planning sessions that our light rail vehicles are aging. We have 36 Siemens vehicles that are nearing the end of their useful life. And so what we're seeing right now is a trend that's somewhat concerning. It's not significant, as you can see, but we're seeing an over budget in that area where we're spending a lot more on these cars. So we need to do something to replace those cars. We also have about 36 CAF cars, and that's the vendor name CAF, that they're reaching their mid-year overhaul time period. So we're going to start seeing those needing some more attention and parts being built. So the category that, if I'm looking into the future, that I'm going to keep my eye on, it's that area of supplies to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. And we're doing what we can to do that through various contracts and that emergency declaration that Henry mentioned. So those are my points on the overall projection or the overall situation here at RT. Now I want to touch on the revenues, and I kind of mentioned this earlier. If you look at the slide, you're going to see the chart. The two blue graphs show the difference between fiscal year 16 and fiscal year 17. And without seeing those numbers, they're a little fuzzy even for me at this point, but I know it's about a $2.4 million difference, and that's basically about an $8.6 million increase in fares from FY16 to FY17. So that's a big accomplishment for us to improve our fares. When you look at it from a budget to actuals perspective, it's a little disappointing that we didn't hit the budget, but there's some factors that happened. I know when I've come before the board, I've talked about fares in January. What we saw from January to May, we saw a lot of disruption due to weather. We saw a lot of rain, a lot of storms coming in and impacting our light rail service. We know on the bus side we need to do more from an ROS standpoint to try to improve routes, but on the light rail side what we need to do is improve those cars, the reliability, and we need to have some better weather. What happened in June is that what we're seeing is We have a ticket exchange. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this. And during a ticket exchange period, and it usually lasts about 3 months, what we have is customers that have had old tickets that they've purchased and held onto, and they're prepaid tickets. And instead of buying new tickets during the ticket exchange period, they come in and exchange those old tickets. So what you have a pattern of happening is people are not buying a lot during that ticket exchange. They're tending to come in and exchange their old tickets. So having June kind of dip in fare revenues, it's somewhat predictive. We just want to keep an eye on that going forward. The other thing that I'm keeping my eye on with fares is we've implemented the Connect card, and that's been a great success. We're really excited about doing things with electronic fares, whether it's your mobile phone or the Connect card. The one disadvantage, and it's a short-term disadvantage that you have with electronic fares, is we have something called stored value as opposed to buying prepaid media. So typically when someone comes into a customer service location, they'll buy 10 tickets and they'll buy these prepaid tickets, and we record all that revenue up front. Well, when you move to a Connect card or a mobile phone app, you put value on your phone, and it's usually $20, $40 or what. We don't record the actual sale at that point in time. We wait till that person uses the ticket. So what you have is a period of time where we're going to have 3 or 4 months as people transition onto this new electronic form of media, where fares may come down a little before they come back up to their normal levels. So I just want to bring that point up. And that's what I wanted to talk about with fares. As it comes to fare box recovery, this is just kind of a formulaic indicator. And if you look at last year, the fare box recovery percentage was 20%. Now we're at 21%, which is an improvement of 1%, which is that's good to improve 1% in 1 year. You can see we're in line with our budget, and this is because our fares have gone up and our expenses have come down. So that's an improvement that we like to see. We'd like to see that get higher, but we'll take it right now at this level. And then the last thing I want to talk about is ridership, and this is an area that we know we need some improvement on. We know that when you look at ridership from last year to this year, it's a decrease of about 11.2%. A lot of this has to do with the increased inspection. A lot of presence is out there. We've had a fare increase. Some of this stuff is going to happen when you implement those changes. The good side on this is we're actually getting paying riders. I mean, it's one of those areas where I think the other riders, when you see transit inspectors go on board and other people are getting inspected, there's a better feeling that you're not just the only one paying. So I think we're getting a shift in culture on that light rail system, and I think it's going to take some time to build that ridership, but I think people are overall happy to see those fare inspectors out there. Yes, there you go. Thank you. So, but that being said, I think this is an area that we definitely need to work on. So what we've committed is at the next board meeting, we're going to talk about all the tasks that we're working on to improve ridership. It takes some time to do it. We can't do this overnight, but we're going to show you all the things that we are doing to move RT in the right direction for this metric. And that concludes my presentation.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that great news, Brent. And you call out the board on a lot of these efforts, but I know this board is very anxious for you to thank all the staff involved in really improving the financial picture of this district. Those who have been on this board for a number of years know that this kind of news has been actually absent. So to see this trend, and we sincerely appreciate all the hard work, every one of the departments in regional transit, and you called out some of those. But this is just a tremendous turnaround that gives us breathing room. You talk about an emergency contract to deal with air conditioning issues. To be able to do that, have the capacity to do that, and not feel like we're breaking the bank along the way is really great news. So thank you for that. And then just related on behalf of the board, Lisa, welcome. I had a chance to have a lengthy conversation with Lisa in the hallway for about 30 seconds, and this is going to be a great transition from Norm to you. Your enthusiasm was infectious just in that 30 seconds, so welcome aboard. And then lastly, Officer Alex Ladwig, he is a Folsom resident, and we had a nice little article in our local paper. His and his family are just incredibly grateful for the outpouring of support, and all the board members that have reached out to that family and stuff. And I know Phil, you thankfully jumped on that right away. So, but they are sincerely appreciative, and we do look forward to seeing Alex in full health soon. So with that, I do have a request to speak on this item. Mike?
Mr. Chair?
Barnbrook? Yes.
Before we
Director
hear
Cerny.
from the public, I had a question for Brent.
You bet.
Sure.
You bet.
So, you mentioned, Brent, about the cost of supplies / parts being kind of an indicator, maybe a canary in a coal mine, if you will, as it relates to the fact that our rail rolling stock is reaching the end of its useful life. At what point do you think we start to see impacts on need for more mechanics, so the personnel side of that?
That's a good question. So I do sit on a committee for hiring as well, so we do see a lot of those coming through. I have seen in the past few months, I've seen about 4 or 5 different mechanic A, B, and C requests coming through. Typically, they've been on the bus side right now. But I think what we're learning is that in the light rail side, what we're seeing is we need some specialty mechanics as it relates to the Siemens cars, because there's a lot of issues that our internal folks are still trying to learn. And maybe Mark, I don't know if Mark is, there you are, Mark, okay. You probably can address this a lot better than I can, but I just see an overview. Sorry, don't mind, Mark.
So I think to answer your question, we're there, actually. We, for 2 reasons. One is we're adding 21 more cars to the fleet with the UTDC cars when they're all in service. We are, though, right now having a very difficult time finding the qualified people to train to be mechanics. The light rail cars are not standard across the country. Everyone we bring in, we train to some extent. Some have more experience than others, and it's been very challenging for us to find the level of technical expertise we need to train. Right now we have actually too many trainees in the pipeline. We have 6 people in training, recognizing that every trainee is taking some time away from a productive mechanic as well to help do the training. So that's been our struggle, is just staying within the staffing that we need to. We're with the 6 trainees, not counting them, including them in the productive workforce, we're still at least 4 or 5 positions below what you've authorized us so far. So this has been a struggle for us. We think that we will actually catch up with respect to staffing in the probably about the springtime of next year, with people coming out of training and actually being able to get ahead of it. We go through periods where we have trouble finding people. We actually have had some luck of late. That's why we have 6 trainees in place right now. We do need to increase the number, but first we have to get fully staffed. We are also looking at changes to the training program that will help us stay fully staffed. Right now, a trainee takes the spot of a journey level worker, and we're looking at following the model of some other rail systems where they actually have trainee funded positions, so you're not taking productive people away from when you have a vacancy. So we're looking at that as well. Bringing Siemens in to help on the UTDC cars is going to be a whole lot of assistance for us. If you kind of look at it this way, when we buy a new light rail vehicle, we have a manufacturer to help us put those cars in service, someone that's out there working through the issues that we see as they're running. That's what Siemens is going to do for us with the UTDC cars. Obviously, the manufacturer is long out of business. Siemens, having done the rebuild, will help us track down these problems that we're having as we run the cars. So that's going to give us a little bit of a breathing room too. But no question, our biggest issue on the Siemens fleet is obsolescence. We are having an increasingly more difficult time finding replacement parts for a 30-year-old car that are no longer made, long out of date. And some systems will need to be upgraded. Some parts will have to be reverse engineered and remanufactured to keep the cars running. And the longer we go past the 30-year life, the more challenging that becomes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. So any other questions before I get to speaker requests? Okay. So Mike Barnbaum.
Thank you. Yes, so first I want to say to General Manager and CEO Henry, great report. Love the fact that the the bill in the state you talked about in today's report passed, and that today going forward, there will always be a state update and an ROS, or route optimization study update in the report before this board. One of the things that Brent brought up was the difference between stored value and advancing a fair purchase to put it on the electronic Connect card, or to have a mobile fare app, and how revenue gets reported differently versus buying tickets. It was brought to my attention that I think it was starting this month or last month, but pretty much going forward, any patron going into 1225 R Street that wants to buy fares will up front be offered a Connect card as the first line to try to sell and bring forth the advent of the Connect card to the region. What I had a question of was the part where it was discussed in tonight's report that when you buy fare and put it on your Connect card and it's not reported until it has been used, is that the same for both electronic cash that you store as a purse and electronic cash that if you wanted to, you store as a pass? So when does a person's pass get reported if they buy it on the mobile fare app or the Connect card versus actually going old-fashioned and buying a paper pass that they put into their wallet? And last but not least, one tip for riders and anyone in the room, and it helps when there's transit fare inspection above on the trains. Wear your fare. Then when they come by, there's nothing to ask of you. They could see what your credential on you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mike. So you got a quick answer to us.
Thanks, Mike. I think what Mike is referring to is we have the semi-monthly or a monthly pass, and typically when we distributed a monthly pass, the minute the pass left RT and we sold it, we recognize the revenue. Now we actually wait till it's used, similar to stored value. So I hope that answers it. And if it doesn't, I'll stay back and we can kind of talk about that.
All right, great. Thanks, Brent. Okay, no more requests to speak on this item, so next item, please.
Item number 14, new business information, Watt I-80 rehabilitation and security update, presented by Neil Nance and Lieutenant Hines.
Good evening, Neil and Lisa.
Good evening, Chair Moore, members of the board. Thank you for allowing staff this opportunity to provide a quick update on the Watt I-80 light rail station bus stops. Lieutenant Lisa Hines, our Chief of Police Services, and we'll provide a security update. And Mr. Mark Longin, our Deputy General Manager and Chief COO, will provide a quick glimpse into the future of Watt 80, and I will provide a facilities update. The Watt I-80 Transit Center is a multimodal, multi-story hub and gateway along the Northeast I-80 corridor in Sacramento County. SACRT aims to ensure that we provide a safe, secure, and clean experience for all our passengers and employees at the Watt I-80 Transit Center. We intend for our focus efforts to transform the Watt I-80 station into a flagship transit center. With that, I'd like to invite Ms. Lisa Hines to provide the update for security.
Chair Moore and members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to fill Norm's little big shoes. That paints a very good picture for me. So I wanted to share with you, for several months now we've been working on Watt and I-80, and I want to go back a little bit. When the transit agent program was initiated, the first station that we put transit agents at on a permanent post was Watt and I-80. And it was important for us, so that was back in May, and what was important for us was to regain control of that station. Watton I-80, as we all know, is at a very at-risk location. It's very unusual in that it's underneath the freeway, and it's very noisy, and then of course our bus stops are at the top of the freeway, where again it's very noisy, they're hard to navigate. We have the unique stairs and the constant issue with the elevators. So when we put the transit agents out at the, where's the? When we put the transit agents out here, I thought I'd represent a few pictures of transit agents. They started doing their job exactly how they were trained to do their job. So they were asking for fare, they were enforcing the fare paid zones, and they were enforcing rules and regulations that they were able to do so, such as no smoking. Well, like any community or any policing program, as soon as you start putting on enforcement teams, you're going to get pushback, and that's exactly what they encountered, some serious pushback. Some specific incidents were more violent than necessary, so it became apparent to me that we needed to staff some police officers there to support our transit agents, some armed officers, if you will, to support that program. So what I did is I pulled the statistics from the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department, a combination thereof for Watton I-80. What you're looking at on the left is just very small numbers. Number one, it's not a huge number. But as you can see, of course, Deputy Ladwig's incident of attempt homicides on this, this is January to July 2016 comparative to 2017. But there are a few specific incidents that happened fairly quickly after we added or implemented the transit agent program. So I wanted to show you the stats specific to that, but also I think it's imperative that we look at the overall stats of our whole system. So our stats are extremely low. Again, it's January to June, relative years 2016 and 2017. There's a few more thefts this year. We have a very great success rate with our investigators in solving these types of crimes. But based upon the 12 million boarders that we had during, or riders, if you will, that during that time frame, it's very, very, very small numbers. So what I did in response, so again, this is completely proactive. This is in May and June. I talked to Henry. Henry had presented to the EMT staff, if you will, that we come up with this adopt a station idea, and it was great. So Neil and I, it's the only station we did it with, but we became partners because there's a huge facility component as well as a safety component. So it's been pretty awesome because we work very closely together and we're able to quickly make change. And because we're constantly communicating, constantly going to team meetings together and spending a lot of time at Watton I-80, if you will. So we met with several partners, and Neil facilitated that, and he'll talk about it in a minute, including the WAT partnership, the WAT PBID, WAC Sacramento, and then later Mark and I met with the sheriff captain for the North Command. So I started putting police officers out there, and I talked to Henry about it, and I got great response and support from Henry because I didn't like the pushback that I was seeing from the TAs, and that is what a direct result why Deputy Lodwig was unfortunately shot in the face, is because I was putting out a heavy presence of police officers out there to make it safe for our ridership, safe for our transit agents, and safe for everybody utilizing the station. Luckily, Alex is doing very well today, as you said, but with that said, I increased it even more. I went back to Henry and said, we need to even up this more. And so what that looks like today, the model that I'm using today, is during Monday through Friday, 7 to 7, I have 2 armed police officers out there, and they walk the stairwells, they go up to the bus stops, and they have 2 police cars, and they're very visible, if you will. And then in the evenings, we went into contract with Paladin, and I have 2 armed Paladin guards to pick up the rear or the end of the shift. They come in at 6:30, and then they share information, and then they take over. We've even seen some pushback with our police officers out there, 2 police officers, as well as Paladin. So I know that what we're doing is right, and we have the support of Henry in making this a safe and a very great station. One thing that happened in the middle of this, which is I think very important to relate to you, is that the SOC went 24/7. So we're able to get instant dispatch, instant access, and support for our video systems, and they're able to relay information. After Deputy Lodwig was shot, we continued with our program, if you will, and I had a crime prevention through environmental design done. RTIT is amazing, and they quickly, I think within 2 weeks, they've installed an additional 16 cameras and a PA system in both stairwells at Watt and I-80. They're completely live. The SOC is trained on how to use the PA system, and they're documenting all their uses of the PA system, but we're able to use it as a security tool. So if someone's exhibiting bad behavior, smoking, urinating, any kind of bad behavior, they're able to tell them to knock it off, or a police officer will be en route. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. Just to finish up, Mark and I met with the captain from the North Command, and we've already reached out to our law enforcement partners besides our community partners. I'm sending RT supervisors over to the sheriff's department, so we have that instant communication. They're attending roll calls, and I'm going to continue with the staffing right now. I pulled the transit agents out of the station after Deputy Lodwick got shot, and I'm kind of playing that by ear week by week and communicating with Henry and Mark on what's the best course of action. Once things calm down and we completely own that station, then we'll be able to back out of there to some extent, and that'll be more to follow on that. And here's Neil.
Thanks, Lisa. Next couple items, we're going to talk about the improvements process. 3 phases, what we did in the first 60 days, the next 90, and then what our plan is for the Watt 80 Transit Master Plan. Let's look at some of these pictures here. These are some older pictures that show what I-80 was like. I mean, it was tough conditions for our customers. We also had them where the public would abuse the station. Transfer between the modes were difficult with folks on Watt I-80, on Watt having to go down the stairway to get on the light rail station. First 60 days, on June 19th, we had a meeting with staff and stakeholders. We spent over 2 hours at the station walking and investigating the station and making a list together. We came up with a list of about 100 things that we could go out and do. A lot of the quick items we have already started working on and trying to address, and some items, of course, will be longer planned items that we would bring to you in the future. One item, we got a portable restroom. This portable was originally put in at the request of our patrons and passengers along the light rail. However, the portable was misused and abused, and so we removed it. We're hoping that that helps that situation. In the future, we may bring it back, but right now it's best to have that out of there. We moved some landscaping below the bridge. We were finding that folks were hiding out. It was behind the landscaping. This doesn't show a great picture of it, but behind the landscaping, and they were hiding materials, drug paraphernalia, human waste, and all kinds of stuff back there. So we cleared all that out, put in some bark, and that way we won't have anyone hiding out doing that kind of stuff, and have it more transparent so they wouldn't be utilizing the station that way. And we installed some stairwell gates. We put these gates in on both sides of Watt Avenue, on the top side of the station. The plan is now to be able to lock the gates as well as the elevators during non-operational times. So we have that in. We're also painting the station on the bus side of things. The next 90 days. Next 90 days, we're looking to remove the bike lockers. We're going to correct the Watt I-80 East elevator. We're going to get that repaired. We're going to repaint some shelters. We're going to replace trash cans on both the light rail and the bus station, the bus stop location. We're going to repaint the bus loading curb on Watt Avenue and add some ADA non-slip adhesives to the stairwells. Watt I-80 Transit Master Plan. The goal of that project is to enhance passenger safety, comfort, convenience, and mobility in order to increase transit ridership. The project will develop improvements to the pedestrian environment along Watt Avenue. We think how the multimodal transit center can be optimized and evaluate overall bike and pedestrian connectivity. Data collected and concepts developed can be used to proceed design and construction funding and on selected projects. Again, we have some great partners that's engaged with us on this transformation. We got the Sacramento County Sheriff, Caltrans, Paladin, the Watt P-Bid, as well as Walk Sacramento. As we continue to move down this path of transforming this station, we'll continue to bring on other partners to help us push this along our way. We are excited about it, and we're going to continue to move forward. With that, I'm going to ask Mark to come forward and help us reimagine what Watt Avenue could be.
So really quickly, and what we're doing here is actually kind of a radical reimagining. We're actually giving consideration, and we're just beginning to study the possibility of closing the upper level, running all the buses to the lower level, creating a much enhanced bus to bus and bus to rail transfer facility at the lower level, not using the upper level anymore. The advantages to that are a much more convenient transfer between buses and trains for our riders, the ability for us to create a much more secure environment. That area of Watt Avenue is frankly very challenged, and those challenges are drifting down to our station platform and causing some of the problems we're seeing. So that would allow us to greatly enhance security. We wouldn't need to replace an elevator. People wouldn't have to go down one flight of stairs or the elevator and go up the other to transfer. You wouldn't be transferring in the middle of a bridge on Watt Avenue, which has never been a good environment. The reason this isn't a done deal at this point for us, with all those great positives, is the one big negative, and that's what happens to travel time for people. We need to do the study that looks at how many through riders we have on Watt Avenue, what the impact is to their travel time, what the impact is to riders who are transferring, and honestly, at the end of the day, that's going to be a major influence in deciding whether or not this is something we recommend to you and move forward with. Nothing is going to be done without public outreach. We're not there yet. We're not ready to stand up with a straight face and say this is a good idea at this point, but it is something we're seriously considering. And if the timing works out with respect to riders' travel time, the safety and security and convenience at the lower level is without a doubt something that can be greatly improved. So that's the end of our presentation, and thank you very much.
Great. Questions for any of our presenters before I get to some requests to speak on this item? All right, great. Thank you, and great progress there. So I do have a number of requests to speak on this item. We'll start with Helen O'Connell, so if we can get Helen the microphone there. After Helen is Barbara Stanton.
Good evening, board members. I have how much does it cost list. We've been running a bus bridge because of the elevator not being up. I was wondering how much that costs us per week, per month. Another thing I was wondering is how much has it cost us to repair the elevator in the last 2 years? And how much does it cost to put in a new elevator if we can't get the lower, the elevator not being used at all scenario going? How much would a new elevator cost us? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Helen. Do we have an ability to immediately answer any of those questions, or do we need to get back to Helen?
We'll get it back to her.
Okay, great. Good questions, Helen. We'll get back to you on those costs and stuff. Okay, Barbara, and following Barbara is Mike Barnbaum.
Good evening again. Barbara Stanton, Ridership for the Masses. Okay, I'm going to do the elevator thing because it's very important. You know, Watton I-80 is a major transfer point. It services 8 bus routes, one of which takes passengers to the Placer County line near Roseville and Citrus Heights. And the other one, there's other ones, but there's a really important bus line, which is number 1, that takes students out to ARC. And school is starting August the 25th. And while you have not seen people maybe using the bus bridge all that much, August 25th is going to be an indicator of who's going to be using the bus bridge and the east elevator. The number 1 picks up on the west side and coming back drops off on the east side. This bus is very crowded. It is so crowded that sometimes during the school season, it passes people up. We're not talking 5 or 6 people, we're talking 30 people at a time because it is a very well-traveled route. So we know that the east side is going to be very much impacted after August 25th. And we are deeply concerned that there is enough signage to let people know where the bus bridge is and how often it comes. And I think I saw on one of those signs, there's a picture of, was that the schedule? Was that the schedule that was up there? Because as of yesterday, no one has seen the schedule, and we really need to have people see the schedule, how long it's going to take. We're asking RT not to rely solely on social media or the internet for this situation. We urge you to use your resources, such as bus drivers, to announce the location of the shuttle and the timeline that goes with it. And we ask RT to visually post a sign and go old school to let people know where to get the shuttle and how often it will run. And if RT has a problem posting the sign, Ridership for the Masses will greatly help you out with the sign. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Barbara. And Mike, and following Mike is Jeffrey Tardigia. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, and thank you to all the staff behind the podium this evening. Neil Nance, Lieutenant Lisa Hins, and Mark Lonergan for the presentation. I'm going to piggyback on it as part of the presentation and present to the board the services you currently have at the station, and it's not just inclusive to regional transit. The background is to give the board and the public, including the television viewing public, a little bit of better idea of what Watt Avenue has. And yes, there might be, at a future board meeting, a test on this. There are 7 local bus routes, 1 express bus route, 1 light rail line, and 1 route provided by another SACOG region transit provider at this station. Route 1, as was mentioned by the last speaker, is the Auburn Greenback line and travels from Watt 80 American River College to the Sunrise Mall Transit Center. Route 15 travels from Watt Avenue Station to 8th and O in downtown Sacramento, primarily along Grand Avenue, Rio Linda Boulevard, Del Paso Boulevard, and Richards Boulevard, past the Greyhound station into downtown. Route 19 travels into the Rio Linda neighborhood from the Watt 80 station to Arden Del Paso station, primarily along Watt Avenue, Alverta Road, and Rio Linda Boulevard, serving the Robla community, North Sacramento community, Alverta, Rio Linda, Antelope, North Highlands, and North Sacramento. Route 26 provides service on weekdays only into the McClellan Business Park, but does provide service Saturday and Sunday to the Watt Avenue Interstate 80 station along Fulton Avenue as it does during the week. And its southern terminus on all days is the University 65th Street station. Route 80 and 84 are the key lines for Watt Avenue. Both serve the Watt Manlove station and the Watt 80 station and split at Watt and Don Julio Boulevard. Route 80 goes up Watt Avenue to Elkhorn, up to Greenback and Auburn, and Route 84 travels along Don Julio and Willerga, past the Antelope Highlands Library to Watt and Alverta. And Route 93 serves the Lewis Orlando transfer point from Watt and I-80, primarily along Auburn and Hillsdale Boulevards. Then Placer County Transit Route 10 serves the lower level of the station adjacent to the train platform going to Auburn, including Sierra College and Galleria at Roseville.
Okay.
And then, of course, is the blue line to Cosumnes River College.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Any questions?
Siri's going to be out of a job if they ever find out about Mike Barnbaum. Let me tell you what, so.
So we will look at everything with the team on the ROS coming up. We only ask that you ask staff and us to bring the recommendation you heard first to the Mobility Advisory Council so they could provide some input, and to the Service Efficiency Review Committee.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Jeffrey Tardigia. Good evening, Jeffrey. Got it there? All right.
Yes, Board. Well, many years ago, I was an American River student. And what's very critical in the first few weeks of the semester is the determination for students riding regional transit. What you guys are way too late on is getting a schedule in there so you can adapt what buses can be switched from the east side to the west side for April or August 25th. For the first 2 weeks, you need to have a scheduler. And years ago, you took and you ran a bus from downtown, downstairs, straight to American River to get your excess loaded students to American River College. Critical time, like rush hour, of 7 to 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Same thing as 3 o'clock in the afternoon until that time period. You need to redo that, and you have less than a month to do that. And again, like last year, I hit up, Henry about the, electronic bulletin board signs. You've done a great alert system, but you still haven't figured out how at each one of the, light rail stations, Sac Valley, I-80, how to utilize your electronic bulletin board systems to tell the riders what they need to know. You haven't done that. And that's some of the things where you need to spend some resources to make that work.
So work on that well.
I know, it's been a year, Henry, through there. As the Connect card and what's going on through there. But the emphasis right now is you will have, 10,000 students? Have you talked to the public information officer at American River College? Have you contacted the customer government that will be back starting August 2nd, August 3rd, in there, of what in the world's going on? That is what's important for increasing your ridership. And I bring this up again because here you've had the opportunity right now where you could have, like the arena, you could have generated more revenue right now for our state fair. One of the ironic, ambiguous things is here you have where disability riders are using paratransit, to use which cost RT a lot of money to bring them for the days of the fair, because guess what? You have it where 8 o'clock at night is when you close down the 67, 68. Something that you should have figured out a long time ago that could have been done. Lastly was hey, you've got a Capitol Air Show going on, and once again, I suspect RT is out of the loop about in any way assisting bringing riders. Again, another revenue source that's not working, not happening. So please, guys, more effort and a better scheduling needs to happen.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. All right. Next, that concludes speakers on this item. So next item, please.
Item number 15, Capital Corridor, Joint Powers Authority, written report in your binder if Directors Harris or Miller have anything else to add.
Anything to add?
I think that the report is an adequate synopsis. It was a fairly light agenda.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item number 16, Paratransit Inc. Board of Directors meeting, written report in your packages if Director Hume or Hanson have anything to add.
Just add that, or augment that we did recognize the loss of a great board member, Frances Gracechild. Many of you may have known her. She was the director of disability mobility in Sacramento. Great person. And then the other thing is they nominated me to be vice president, and I accepted. So.
I nominated you.
All right. Excellent. Thanks. Thanks, Patrick. Okay. Next item, please.
Next item is the announcement of closed session items, conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54954-5, labor negotiator Andrew J. Moran, chair, title General Manager, CEO, and my understanding is there will not be a report out of closed session.
Correct. All right. Thank you. Okay, adjourned closed session.